Every story, intentional or not, follows very specific patterns, and Kingdom Hearts is no exception. Whether it be how you write your characters, incorporate story ideas, or follow a certain narrative structure, these patterns exist in all stories. These patterns are more commonly known as archetypes. Archetypes were a term first coined by Carl Jung to recognize these patterns within storytelling. One of these narrative archetypes is the hero's journey. Joseph Campbell was the first to articulate how all hero stories followed this specific archetype. Whether it be Sora, Moses, Hercules, Link, or Luke Skywalker, you can find many of these commonalities across all of these stories. Kingdom Hearts perfectly articulates the hero's journey archetype, using its narrative and Disney worlds as a structure to do so. Nomura and his team sought out to make a complex narrative that could be enjoyed by both kids and adults alike. Kingdom Hearts uses its complex psyche of the mind and many of Carl Jung's theories to explore what it means to be human, and how stories can connect us all. It's why Kingdom Hearts is still heavily talked about to this day, despite many of its mechanics feeling dated. On its surface, Kingdom Hearts may seem like a simple story of good versus evil, but as we are about to learn, Kingdom Hearts' story is much more complex than many initially give it credit for. If you haven't done so already, consider giving the video a like and joining me on a journey across worlds as we jump into our gummy ship and explore the simple yet complex narrative behind Kingdom Hearts in our Kingdom Hearts retrospective and story analysis. A chapter select has been provided down below, making it easier to pick back up and watch. We will be going through each Disney world since this is a Kingdom Hearts retrospective. Feel free to use the chapter select to get to the juicy parts of this retrospective. Before we get started, however, I need to talk about how this retrospective is paced. Typically, we have an entire section of gameplay mechanics alone, but Kingdom Hearts has a lot of moving parts to its combats and gameplay mechanics that pop up throughout the game. We will cover each of these mechanics as they become relevant within the game and take a look at some of its more complex features of Kingdom Hearts combat. These will come up throughout the story analysis. Each Kingdom Hearts world will also be its own section in the retrospective. This will help to make it easier for those who wish to skip the Disney worlds and get to the juicy parts or a specific world to do so. We will first look at development history, then a story summary, and make connections piecing together Kingdom Hearts' more complex themes and ideas. If you would like to help support the channel, there are ways to do so down below in the description. Let's dive into the connected worlds of Kingdom Hearts. The idea for Kingdom Hearts stemmed from a chance meeting between two executives from Squaresoft and Disney, who at the time shared an office space in Tokyo. It was also pure happenstance Nomura became involved. Nomura recounted a time he was called into the office and overheard a discussion happening between Shinji Hashimoto and Hironobu Sakaguchi discussing using Mickey Mouse in the game. At this time, Squaresoft wanted to make a game that could rival Mario. The 90s was a fruitful time for platformer mascots. If you were in the business of making games, you were looking to somehow incorporate an anthropomorphic mascot to associate with your brand. Nomura wanted to be a part of this project, as the prospect of making a 3D platformer appealed to him. Just as I was working on Final Fantasy VII, Mario 64 was released. The fully three-dimensional spaces and the freedom you had to run around them had a big impact on me. When I told my colleagues I wanted to make a game like that, they said, "But Mario's already a world-famous character. It would be impossible to start from scratch with an all-new character." While Nomura wasn't even thinking about making a game using Disney characters, the thought stuck in his head. But it was established since Nintendo had the market on 3D platforming mascots, it would be hard to enter that market without using Disney as a crutch to do so. Nomura recounted a comment made by a fellow employee. Somebody even said the only way you could do it is with characters that are as well known as Disney's. That really stuck in my head, so when I heard we could be making a game with Disney characters, I naturally jumped at the chance. Naturally, working with Disney was not easy. Squaresoft began to have meetings with Disney on how this collaboration would work. Disney and Nomura did not see eye to eye, as their visions of what the game could be were very different. I actually stopped a presentation halfway through. We didn't have much time, and it looked like it would all get taken up by various Disney presentations. so I interrupted them and told them the conclusion by saying I won't make such games. Luckily, Disney didn't understand what he said due to him speaking Japanese. Nomura began to show Disney his initial concepts of Sora, who in his early stages had a tail and a chainsaw as a weapon. Disney was surprised by Sora's chainsaw weapon, with Nomura saying they were absolutely speechless. The developers were given strict guidelines on what they could do for the game. For instance, Donald and Goofy were not allowed to carry such weapons as a sword, so a shield and stick were improvised for their weapons. They could also not add anything to other Disney characters that weren't in the movies. Citing Tarzan was easy to create a weapon for since he wielded a spear in the original film. The developers of Squaresoft got to spend a day with Disney animators in a class setting, learning about the motivations behind some of the characters and learning the basics of how Disney films were actually animated. One of the developers spent 6 months watching nothing but Disney films so he could learn the characteristics and mannerisms and incorporate these characters into the game. It paid off. That dedication is something Kingdom Hearts really gets right. Its animation just translates well into a video game, and it's the understanding of how those Disney characters moved that help bring Kingdom Hearts world to life. This has been something the series has constantly been able to achieve, in which it feels like it could have been something specifically created by Disney themselves. When telling the story, Nomura wanted the main theme to be connections, or the connections we make. For the story, simply put, connections. I wanted to portray the idea that people are not physically connected. Well, I think that is already thoroughly incorporated in the story though. Even apart, things which are connected are still connected. At the start of the project, the story behind Kingdom Hearts was very simple, but after a discussion with Hironobu Sakaguchi, the story was changed into something much more complex. Yeah, regarding that, we talked about concentrating on the gameplay and just making a simple story. And we also thought about Disney's target age range, and thought maybe we should avoid a complex story. But at a point when we had the project set out to a certain degree, I got a talk from Mr. Sakaguchi saying if we didn't aim for a level that Final Fantasy does, this project would be a failure. Well, I understood what he was saying, so for the game's contents, the gameplay was always the same sort of thing from the start, but we improved the story greatly at the beginning. We were thinking we'd make a game with the story extremely simple. At that time, when characters like Ansem didn't even exist, we were thinking that you just kill Maleficent and the game would end there. With the story concepts established, writers Jun Akiyama, Daisuke Watanabe, and Kazushige Nojima got to work. Kingdom Hearts soundtrack was composed by Yoko Shimamura, who in my opinion is vastly underrated when it comes to Square composers. Shimamura's goal was not to use music that already existed, saying, I tried not to use music that had already existed. My concern was to use music that flows nicely and matches the mood. I did use some original Disney music, but tried to blend it well so listeners would not feel awkward when my original music was mixed in. The music in Kingdom Hearts is one of the staples of the series. It is perhaps some of Shimamura's most notable work. My philosophy to a great soundtrack is how emotional the music makes me feel and how memorable it was, and Kingdom Hearts certainly ticks these boxes.
I've been having these weird thoughts lately. Like, is any of this for real or not?
Sora wakes up in what seems to be an abyss full of darkness, with small bits of light glimmering, lighting up platforms he stands on. This serves as the game's basic tutorial, teaching us the basics of gameplay. Placed upon 3 pedestals are a sword, a shield, and a staff, all of which are shaped with Mickey's emblem. It is here we choose the style in which we want to play. In order to excel in one, we have to give up another. The sword will grant you physical strength, increasing your attack. The shield grants you higher defense and HP, letting you take more of a beating. And the staff grants you mental fortitude, making your magical attacks stronger. Usually I go with the strength build and give up magic, but for this playthrough I went with magic and gave up strength. We are introduced to the basics of combat. To the left side is the command menu. Final Fantasy fans will be very familiar with this setup. This setup, however, is not ideal, and it's been a feature I've kind of always hated, but more on this in a moment. As long as you have attack highlighted, Sora will attack the enemies. As the game progresses, you'll gain the ability to use magic and summons. Using the D-pad, you'll be able to scroll down, select magic, item, or summon. This was never ideal for me since the D-pad was on the left and your hand is always controlling the analog stick. This means you either have to come to a complete stop or move your right hand over to scroll down the command menu to use what command you want. You can remedy this by using the shortcut menu, by hitting the left bumper followed by either X, circle, or triangle, using one of the spells or items you have attached to that shortcut. But you only have 3, so if you have a spell you want to use that's not in those shortcuts, you're just going to have to scroll through the menu anyway. Like many other RPGs, magic is broken into 2 categories, offense and defense. Your main defensive skills will be your greatest assets in battle. Cure will let you heal your wounds rather than relying on only items. If you are in dire need of a potion to heal your HP, or you find yourself in need of an ether to restore MP, you'll be able to select those using the item command. Using Arrow will also cast a wind shield around you, allowing you to get an extra bout of defense. Arrow, however, only lasts a certain period of time. Arrow also allows you to cause extra damage to the enemies that you are hitting. Your offensive spells such as Fire, Ice, Thunder, Gravity will all damage your enemies. Stop will freeze your enemies in place. You aren't able to damage them, but it gets bothersome enemies out of the fight, getting you out of some very tight situations during combat. Sora can also use various different finishers and combos, some requiring MP and others not. These are various different moves allowing you to damage enemies more. These are purely experimental and you'll be able to tune these to your specific playstyle. Sora can throw barrels, as there are times where you can throw them in battle, but it's hardly ideal. Most of the time, you'll use them as platforms to reach out-of-reach ledges that you couldn't reach otherwise. Sora is whisked away to a ship where 3 familiar Final Fantasy characters ask you a series of questions. Depending on those answers, you'll either level up faster until you get to 50, level up faster after you hit 50, or level up equally throughout. After a fight with a Heartless, Sora encounters a giant one called Darkseid. The giant Heartless destroys everything and Sora wakes up on the beach.
Whoa! Give me a break, Kyrie.
Sorry, you lazy bum. I knew that I'd find you snoozing down here.
No, this huge black thing swallowed me up. I couldn't breathe, I couldn't... Ow!
Are you still dreaming?
It wasn't a dream. Or was it? I don't know. What was that place? So bizarre.
Yeah, sure.
Say, Kyrie, what was your hometown like? You know, where you grew up?
I've told you before. I don't remember.
Nothing at all?
Nothing.
You ever want to go back?
Well, I'm happy here.
Really?
But you know, I wouldn't mind going to see it.
I'd like to see it too. Along with any other worlds out there. I want to see them all.
So what are we waiting for?
Hey! Aren't you guys forgetting about me? So, I guess I'm the only one working on the raft. And you're just as lazy as he is.
So you noticed. Okay, we'll finish it together. I'll race you.
Huh?
What? Are you kidding?
Ready? Go!
Kingdom Hearts' opening scene is both brilliant and ominous. The opening cinematic foreshadows many of the events that will take place throughout the game. We can come back to this concept later and analyze what this dream and opening cinematic actually conveys. It's worth keeping in the back of your head. Kingdom Hearts' opening, though, perfectly encapsulates what it's like to experience a dream. I've often had dreams where someone or something is just out of my reach. No matter how hard I try to reach that person or object, I can't. It's always out of reach. There's also times which you can't remember how you got to a certain location, or where you seemingly appear from one location to the next. We see Sora trying to reach out to Riku, but unable to grab his hand. Kairi and the ground disappears before him. This constantly pops up throughout the tutorial section as well. There's this deeper connection here we'll talk about later, but if you're familiar with the collective unconscious, you probably know where I'm already going with this, but more on that later. The trio wants to build a raft to see other worlds. Each of them have a desire to see beyond their island. Kairi tasks us with finding supplies to build the raft, so we'll need to hunt down a rope, cloth, and 3 logs. Destiny Island acts as a giant playground for us to play in. It's here we can get a grasp on the platforming and how it works. We're also able to learn about tech points, which give us extra experience in battle. Kingdom Hearts does all of this without interrupting the immersion. More game tutorials could borrow elements from Kingdom Hearts. It understands the player needs to learn these more intricate controls and mechanics, but refuses to hold their hand to do so. The only other modern games that do something like this are the Souls games. The best games give you the basics and strategically set up obstacles to teach you about what you need to do next. It's a game philosophy that I think more modern video games just need to adapt. Kingdom Hearts teaches you this by letting you fight Wakka, Selphie, Tidus, and Riku. Each of them has something to teach Sora. Wakka attacks with a blitzball by throwing it at Sora. By locking onto Wakka, we can swing our blade and send the balls flying back towards him, garnering tech points. This of course stuns him, so you can go in close and land some hits. Selphie, on the other hand, is all about timing, using your blade to deflect her flail to gain extra tech points. Selphie is meant to teach you about mid-range attacks, empowering them to create an opening to go in for an attack. Tidus, on the other hand, teaches you how to parry close range. Deflecting his attacks will negate damage you would receive and awards you tech points. As you can see, Kingdom Hearts uses its tech system to not only reward the player for doing what you're supposed to in combat, but teaches the player when they are doing something right during a fight without needlessly annoying tutorials that break up the flow of combat. One last note worth mentioning: when fighting Riku, he will be knocked on his back. This is your cue to move out of his way, as he will kick upwards, landing a counterattack on you. Taking time to master these fights will make you an expert at combat before you even leave Destiny Islands. Once we are done fighting to your heart's content, we can collect our items for Kairi and speak to her in order to retire for the night.
So, Kairi's home is out there somewhere, right?
Could be. We'll never know by staying here.
But how far could a raft take us?
Who knows? If we have to, we'll think of something else.
So, suppose you get to another world. What would you do there?
Well, I haven't really thought about it. It's just, I've always wondered why we're here, on this island. If there are any other worlds out there, why did we end up on this one? And suppose there are other worlds. Then ours is just a little piece of something much greater. So, we could have just as easily ended up somewhere else, right?
I don't know.
Exactly. That's why we need to go out there and find out. Just sitting here won't change a thing. It's the same old stuff. So let's go.
You've been thinking a lot lately, haven't you?
Thanks to you. If you hadn't come here, I probably would have never thought of any of this. Kairi, thanks.
Meanwhile, Mickey has left Disney Castle to go on an adventure of his own. The next morning, we are tasked with retrieving supplies. 3 fish, 2 coconuts, 1 seagull egg, and a bottle of fresh water. This shows us the naivety of our 3 main characters. This is maybe enough food for 1 or 2 days. In ways, it shows us how naive kids are, and at that age, how oftentimes we don't think before acting on our impulses. Since we have access to the other side of the island, we get a chance to play around a bit more with the platforming. Its platforming is certainly not ideal, and it could have been much better. It wasn't great back in the day when it first came out, and it's only aged like milk since. However, we can put our skills to the test and race Riku.
Win. I'm captain. And if you win...
I get to share the Palpu with Kairi.
Huh?
Deal? The winner gets to share a Palpu with Kairi.
Wait a minute.
Okay, on my count.
Making our way to the secret place, we can grab the last mushroom, and Sora begins to scribble a Palpu fruit on a drawing of him and Kairi. This is pretty significant for events to come, and very clever foreshadowing. Before Sora can leave, though, a strange man appears.
What? Who's there?
I've come to see the door to this world.
Huh?
This world has been connected.
Well, what are you talking about?
Tied to the darkness. Soon to be completely eclipsed.
Well, whoever you are, stop freaking me out like this. Huh?
Once the supplies have been gathered, we can finally take a break for the night and prepare for our next big adventure during the morning.
You know, Riku has changed.
What do you mean?
Well...
You okay?
Sora, let's take the raft and go. Just the 2 of us.
Huh?
Just kidding.
What's gotten into you? You're the one that's changed, Kairi.
Maybe. You know, I was a little afraid at first. But now I'm ready. No matter where I go or what I see, I know I can always come back here. Right?
Yeah, of course.
That's good. Sora, don't ever change.
Huh?
I just can't wait. Once we set sail, it'll be great.
It's funny, really. Whenever I think of Kingdom Hearts, it's always Destiny Island that comes to mind. Not that the Disney worlds are bad, far from it. I think something about this place gives off such a sense of adventure, like something greater is waiting for you on the other side. The music composition here by Yoko Shimomura really gives off a homey feel, and perhaps that's what it is. It makes me feel at home. Destiny Island gives you just enough time to spend with Sora, Riku, and Kairi. You feel as if you've grown up with the 3 of them. It's like returning to your hometown and seeing your friends and family, with that wave of nostalgia hitting you like a slight breeze, reminding you of simpler times. Kingdom Hearts came out at a time when many of us were in middle school or high school. We related so much to Sora, Riku, and Kairi because we couldn't wait to grow up and experience the world, explore our dreams and aspirations. I think this is why to this day Kingdom Hearts is so fondly remembered, as it perfectly encapsulates that naivety we had as we grew up and wanted to experience the real world ourselves, only to come to the conclusion that the real world was not at all what we were expecting.
What could this mean?
It means we'll just have to trust the king.
Gosh, I sure hope he's all right.
Gosh, don't worry. We'll find the king and this key. Thank you, both of you. Daisy, can you take care of them?
Of course. You be careful now, both of you.
Oh, and to chronicle your travels, he will accompany you.
Over here! Cricket's the name. Jiminy Cricket at your service.
We hope for your safe return. Please, help the king.
I just can't wait. Once we set sail, it'll be great.
A storm?
Sora arrives on the island to find Riku and Kairi are both on the island as well. It doesn't take long for Sora to discover the Heartless, the very creatures from his dream earlier. We make our way to the bridge where we can see Riku.
Where's Kairi? I thought she was with you.
The door is open.
What?
The door is open, Sora. Now we can go to the outside world.
What are you talking about? We've got to find Kairi.
Kairi's coming with us. Once we step through, we might not be able to come back. We may never see our parents again. There's no turning back. But this may be our only chance. We can't let fear stop us. I'm not afraid of the darkness.
Riku.
Sora obtains the Keyblade, a weapon able to destroy the Heartless. There isn't much we can do right now other than gain a few levels, but there are definitely better ways to do so, so we'll worry about leveling up soon. Sora makes his way to the secret place where Kairi awaits, but before he can grab her, she disappears as a fierce wind pushes her towards him. The breeze knocks Sora out of the secret place, and we are thrown into another battle with the dark side.
Oh? Oh? Look! A star's going out!
Come on, let's hurry! Where's that key?
Hey, you know, maybe we ought to go find Leon. Oh, Donald, you know, I bet you that,
What do you know, you big Toyota?
What do I know? Come on, Pluto!
When Sora comes to, he finds himself in Traverse Town. We finally get a glimpse of what creates a Heartless. The Heartless are shadows created from darkness of one's heart. When Kingdom Hearts refers to someone's heart, it's referring to their consciousness, or more commonly known, what we would call the soul. The Heartless are a representation of Carl Jung's theory of the shadow self. Sora makes his way across Traverse Town, eventually making his way back to the accessory shop.
They'll come at you out of nowhere,
Who are you?
and they'll keep on coming at you, as long as you continue to wield the Keyblade. But why? Why would it choose a kid like you?
Hey, what's that supposed to mean?
Never mind. Now, let's see that Keyblade.
What? There's no way you're getting this.
All right, then have it your way.
When Sora comes to, he sees Kairi, but quickly realizes he was mistaken. Yuffie and Leon explain what the Keyblade is.
I think you might have overdone it, Squall.
That's Leon.
The Keyblade.
Yeah, we had to get it away from you to shake off those creatures. It turns out that's how they were tracking you.
It was the only way to conceal your heart from them, but it won't work for long. Still, hard to believe that you, of all people, are the chosen one.
Oh,
Yuffie, go!
Yuffie!
Sora, let's go!
Sora eventually makes his way to the 3rd district where Goofy and Donald are looking for the Keyblade bearer. After a boss fight with an armored Heartless, introductions are needed.
So, you were looking for me?
They too have been seeking the wielder of the Keyblade.
Hey, why don't you come with us? We can go to other worlds on our vessel.
I wonder if I could find Riku and Kairi.
Of course.
Are you sure?
Who knows? But we need them to come with us to help us find the kid.
Sora, go with them. Especially if you want to find your friends.
Yeah, I guess.
With our 3 party members and a ship to explore other worlds, we make our way to Wonderland.
That little squirt took down that Heartless. Who'd have thought it?
Such is the power of the Keyblade. The child's strength is not his own.
Why don't we turn him into a Heartless? That'll settle things quick enough.
And the brat's friends are the king's lackeys. Slug on the eyes, they're all built rats by the look of them.
You're no prize yourself.
Shut up!
Enough! The Keyblade has chosen him. Will it be he who conquers the darkness? Or will the darkness swallow him? Either way, he could be quite useful.
Oh, my fur and whiskers! I'm late! Oh dear! I'm here! I should be there! Oh, I'm late! Oh, the Queen! She'll clap my head for sure!
Once we arrive at Wonderland, we make our way to the Queen's Chamber. Something I really respect about Kingdom Hearts is how true it stays to the Disney worlds. As we can clearly see on the table are potions that make you grow large or shrink small. Kingdom Hearts was, after all, originally designed to be a platformer, so I feel like some of those earlier designs have carried over. It's also its attention to detail that help bring these Disney worlds to life and make you feel like you're immersed inside of a Disney world. After a battle with a few Heartless, we make our way to the Queen's courtyard and see the Queen of Hearts having an argument with Alice.
Court is now in session!
I'm on trial? But why?
Her Majesty, the Queen of Hearts, presiding.
This girl is the culprit. There's no doubt about it. And the reason is because I say so, that's why.
That is so unfair.
Well, have you anything to say in your defense?
Of course. I've done absolutely nothing wrong. You may be queen, but I'm afraid that doesn't give you the right to be so mean.
Silence! You dare defy me?
In order to prove Alice's innocence, we are going to have to gather some evidence. Wonderland is about as bizarre as you would expect. Rooms everywhere, which way, tilting and twisting, it can be a nightmare of a place for first-time players to explore. We only need 3 pieces of evidence, but the Cheshire Cat tells us if we find more, he will reward us. This reward is one we want, so we overturn every nook and cranny in order to find that 4th piece of evidence so we can learn the spell Blizzard. Once we have sufficient enough evidence, we can return to the Queen. Presenting our evidence, she decides to add her own only to let us choose one. We need to pick wisely. It is possible to pick her evidence, which will remove either Goofy or Donald from the fight. Alice is hoisted up in the cage she's being imprisoned in, and the battle with her cards ensues. Our object here is to destroy the small little tower with wills. Once achieved, things don't go quite as planned. With Alice gone, we need to look for her. Sora, Goofy, and Donald make their way into Lotus Forest as the Cheshire Cat tells them to follow the shadows, as they've gone every which way. Eventually, we make our way to the Bazaar Room, room, light some candles, and face off against a Heartless. The Trick Master is one of the more annoying Heartless to defeat, in my opinion. I've always approached this by using the table as a jumping point and luring it towards me, so I can bash it with the Keyblade. One thing to look out for is the projectiles the Trick Master decides to throw at you. Eventually, after enough whacks, we're able to take down and reveal the keyhole.
What a racket. How's a doorknob to get any sleep?
Next stop on our checklist is Olympus Coliseum. Making our way into the entrance hall, we are introduced to Phil, who is convinced we don't have what it takes to become a hero.
This here's the world-famous Coliseum, heroes only. And I got my hands full preparing for the games, so run along, pipsqueaks. Look, it's like this. Heroes are coming from all over to fight ferocious monsters right here in the Coliseum.
You've got heroes standing right in front of you.
Yup, he's a real hero chosen by the Keyblade.
And we're heroes too.
Hero? That grunt?
What's so funny? I fought a bunch of monsters.
Hercules is off visiting his father, so Phil is putting things together for the games himself. Phil decides to train us to become heroes, so naturally he puts us in an obstacle course of barrels with tasks of destroying them before the time limit's up. Even after going through training, he still doesn't think we have what it takes to be a hero. Just as we are about to leave, though, Hades decides to show up.
Rather a stubborn old goat, wouldn't you say?
Who are you?
Oh, hey, hold on there, Fuzzboy. Wait, let me guess. You want to enter the games, right? Well then, hey, get a load of this.
A pass?
It's all yours. Good luck, kid. I'm pulling for you, little shorty.
With the Hero's Pass, we can now participate in the games. Phil is bewildered about how he got the pass, but doesn't really question it. The Coliseum games are one of the major parts of the side content in Kingdom Hearts. You'll fight waves of Heartless and other characters from the game in order to win these cups. During this cup, though, Hades has a few tricks up his sleeve.
That little punk is your next opponent, okay? Now don't blow it. Just take him out.
The great god of the underworld is afraid of a kid? Sorry, but my contract says...
I know! You think I don't know? I wrote the contract! I know it says you're only required to kill Hercules in this tournament. But you gotta fight that kid to get to him. Come on. Hey, it's like that old goat says. Rule number 11. It's all just a game. So let loose and have fun with it. I mean, a casualty or two along the way. It's no big deal, right? Jeez. Stiffer than the stiff's bag home. Still, suckers like him are hard to come by.
Sora, Donald, and Goofy fight Cloud, but are interrupted by Cerberus attacking the Coliseum. Hercules fights to save an unconscious Cloud from Cerberus.
Get them out of here!
Sora, Donald, and Goofy decide to help Hercules out by defeating Cerberus. After a long, grueling battle, we are finally able to defeat Cerberus once and for all.
I do hereby dub thee junior heroes and confer upon thee full rights and privileges to participate in the games. Further...
Hey, what do you mean, junior heroes?
You rookies still don't understand what it takes to be a true hero.
So, what does it take?
Well, that's just something you'll have to find out for yourselves. Just the way that I did.
No problem. We'll start by proving ourselves in the games.
There ain't gonna be any games for a while. Gotta clean up the mess from that last battle first.
Okay, we'll be back.
I still can't believe that Squirt actually beat Cerberus.
Just between us, I'd already worn Cerberus down by the time the little guy jumped in.
We aren't quite able to lock the keyhole yet, but we'll have to do so later. So for now, let's make a trip to Deep Jungle.
Hey, are you alright?
Yeah.
So, why did you go along with him anyway?
I'm looking for someone. Hades promised to help. I tried to exploit the power of darkness, but it backfired. I fell into darkness, and I couldn't find the light.
You'll find it. I'm searching too.
For your light? Don't lose sight of it.
How about a rematch sometime? Fair and square, no dark powers involved.
I think I'll pass.
Sora and Donald get into a scuffle of whether or not they're going to stop in Deep Jungle. Donald doesn't want to since he doesn't think anything is going to be down there, but Sora wants to look for Riku and Kairi, thinking that there might be a chance they might have landed in the jungle. The fighting between the two leads to the gummy ship crashing into the jungle. It doesn't take long for Sora to wake up to the sound of Sabor running up to attack him. After giving the giant leopard a big healthy whacking with our Keyblade, Tarzan shows up, scares him off, and joins us. We can make our way through Deep Jungle and find Donald and Goofy. We find Donald and Goofy in the camp.
Jane!
Tarzan? Oh, and who's this?
Hi there.
Oh, you speak English. So then, obviously you're not related to Tarzan. Are you here to study the gorillas?
Highly doubtful.
Sora! Goofy! Donald!
We'll need to get some slides around the camp to see if any of those slides helps Tarzan interpret where Sora's friends are, as Tarzan seems to know where they are, or at least he says he does. One of the slides Sora does seem to recognize, hinting at some sort of foreshadowing. Deep Jungle is one of the more annoying worlds in the game. There is so much backtracking that takes place in Deep Jungle, it's ridiculous. By the end of Deep Jungle, we will have made our way back up and down the treetops 3 times. The first trek will take us to the treehouse where we must look for Clayton.
What's the big idea?
Wait, Kerchak, please!
Making our way back to the tent, we walk into a scene of Jane berating Clayton for trying to hunt the gorillas.
How could you do such a thing?
Now, Miss Porter, as I told you, I was not aiming at the gorilla.
You are not to go near the gorillas again.
He simply states he was shooting a snake sneaking up on a gorilla. Right. After leaving the tent, we hear a gunshot in the distance. It seems Clayton was able to summon the Heartless and bring them under his control. In order to proceed forward in the story, we must make our way to all 3 major areas, saving gorillas from Clayton and his heartless army. This is a tireless effort. Every time I get to this point, I roll my eyes and just wish it was over. Once we finally make our way to this treehouse and save the last gorilla, we slide back down to the tent, making our way to the bamboo thicket. We beat Sabor one last time, where we see his dead, lifeless body just collapse. Damn. So once again, we head all the way back up to the treetops to save Jane and Turk, then all the way back down to camp. It's off to the cliffs to fight Clayton.
Clayton?
Not Clayton. Not Clayton.
After our fight, Kerchak throws us up to the waterfall where we can make our way to the jungle's heart and seal the keyhole once and for all.
The waterfalls! They're echoing all the way here.
Friends there. See friends.
Oh, now I've got it. Means heart. Friends in our hearts.
Heart.
Oh, so that's what it meant.
Friends. Same heart. Clayton. Lose heart. No heart. No see friends. No heart. No friends.
Sorry about what I said.
I'm sorry too.
Yeah, all for one, huh?
With 2 nifty gummy pieces in our hands, we need to make our way back to Traverse Town and ask Leon if he knows what they are. Leon tells us he's not sure, but Sid will definitely know. So Sora, Donald, and Goofy tell Leon about their adventures and how each world they visited had a keyhole. Leon thinks Traverse Town might have one too, and it's a smart idea to seal it so the Heartless can't get to the world's core. With a few new goals in mind, it's time we talk to Sid. He serves as the gummy ship expert, and if you're a fan of Final Fantasy, you saw this coming a mile away. He tells Sora what he's got there are navigation gummies. These will open the pathways to new worlds, but he needs some time to install them. Sid asks us while we wait to deliver a book to a man named Merlin. We make our way to the 3rd district and open the door with a fire symbol on it and into an empty house. Visiting the house, Merlin appears offering to teach us how to use magic. I won't be going over how to use magic here, since we already covered it earlier on. The fairy godmother is also here. If we talk to her, she will take gems we find across the worlds and turn them into summons for us to use. We will be taking some time right now to talk a little bit about summons and how they work. One last thing I want to mention about this house is a book that Sid gave us. This book is Winnie the Pooh, or the 100-Acre Woods. But in order to complete this, we're going to need to find all pages which are scattered throughout the worlds. Once we have all pages, we'll return to this before the end of the game to finish up the Winnie the Pooh segment. Summons, much like magic, are broken into offense and defense. Simba, Genie, Dumbo, and Mushu are all attack-based. Each summon is only able to stay in battle for as long as they have MP. Once that MP runs out, they'll leave the battle. You can also dismiss them at any time you want to by using the dismiss command. Sora, Donald, and Goofy will all need to be conscious in order for summons to be used though. Simba, Genie, and Dumbo are all capable of using spells on enemies by hitting the triangle command. Mushu, on the other hand, constantly spits fireballs out of his mouth to damage the enemy. Tinkerbell and Bambi, on the other hand, are all support summons. Bambi will constantly drop MP bubbles for Sora to pick up. Couple this with Treasure Magnet and you can use an onslaught of magic non-stop until his MP runs out. Tinkerbell, on the other hand, constantly heals your party during a fight, making her one of the most useful summons in the game. We need to find that keyhole, however, but before we do, we need to make our way to the vacant house that Sid said he'd meet up with us at. Some Heartless attack and Riku helps us fight them off.
There you are. What's going on?
Riku!
Hey, cut it out.
I'm not dreaming this time. Right?
I hope not. Took forever to find you.
Riku! Wait a second, where's Kairi?
Isn't she with you? Well, don't worry. I'm sure she made it off the island too. We're finally free. Hey, she might even be looking for us now. We'll all be together again soon. Don't worry. Just leave everything to me. I know this.
Leave it to who?
Sora, what did you...
I've been looking for you, and Kairi too, with their help.
As we enter the house, Maleficent appears and begins talking to Riku, clearly trying to deceive him.
You see, it's just as I told you. While you toiled away trying to find your dear friend, he quite simply replaced you with some new companions. Evidently, now he values them far more than he does you. You're better off without that wretched boy. Now think no more of him and come with me. I'll help you find what you're searching for.
We make our way to the Gizmo shop and up the bell tower. If we ring the bell 3 times, the keyhole appears and we'll need to refight a revamped version of guard armor. With the destruction of guard armor, we can seal the keyhole and make our way to talk to Sid. Sid has decided to open up a gummy shop, so we'll now be able to customize a gummy ship for all you creative people out there, built to your heart's content. AGRABAH, in my opinion, is where Kingdom Hearts really begins to get fun. Upon arrival, we instantly see Maleficent and Jafar talking to each other. The Heartless are looking for the keyhole in AGRABAH.
And the keyhole?
The Heartless are searching for it now. I'm certain we'll find it soon enough. So that just leaves...
Jafar, I've looked everywhere for Jasmine. She's disappeared like magic.
The girl is more trouble than she's worth.
You said you had things under control.
AGRABAH is full of holes for rats to hide in. But why worry about Princess Jasmine? With her or without her, surely this world will be ours when we find the keyhole.
We need all 7 princesses of heart to open the final door. Any fewer is useless.
Well, if the princess is that important, we'll find her.
We need to find Jasmine, so we'll start exploring Agrabah, making our way to the back alley where we can find Jasmine. She begins to wonder where Aladdin is. She hasn't seen him since he helped her escape. It's not soon after Jafar appears with some Heartless. Sora tells Jasmine to run, and it's off to find Aladdin. We find Aladdin in some quicksand near the Cave of Wonders. After fighting off a wave of Heartless, we rescue him and his monkey Abu.
Our lucky winner made his first wish. And let me tell you what a doozy that wish was. So he has 2 left! So, Master, what'll you have for wish number 2?
How about making me a fabulously wealthy prince?
Whoa! Money, royalty, fame! Why didn't I think of that? Okay, you asked for it. 100 servants and 100 camels loaded with gold. Just say the word and I'll deliver it in 30 minutes or less, or your meal's free! Hey, I'll even throw in a cappuccino.
No thanks.
Okay.
I think I'll put that on hold until we reach Agrabah.
Oh, why a prince?
You see, there's this girl in Agrabah named Jasmine. But she's a princess, and she could never fall for a guy like me.
Oh, princess?
Jasmine?
Oh, that's right. She's in trouble, Aladdin.
What? Well, come on, let's get going.
We find Jasmine and Jafar near the castle gates.
Setting your sights a little high, aren't you, boy? Back to your hole, street rat. I will not allow you to trouble the princess anymore.
Jasmine!
I'm so sorry, Aladdin.
Genie, help Jasmine, please.
1 wish left. You're making this really easy, you know?
So sorry, boy. I'm afraid your second wish has been denied.
Huh?
I'm sorry, Al.
And now, I bid you all farewell. Attack!
Jafar takes off with a lamp and Jasmine is put into one of the vases. The mini-boss here is one of my favorite fights. I think it's a super unique idea. The trick to defeating it is to destroy the vases making up its body and then attack the head and tail in order to stop it. Once the Heartless is defeated, it's time to make our way back to the Cave of Wonders. The Cave of Wonders is a maze of all sorts of confusion. If you didn't hate flying enemies by now, you most certainly will now. It is quite possible to fall into the abyss below and have to climb all the way back up to the top again. Flying enemies are probably one of the worst designed elements of the original Kingdom Hearts, as it's just far too easy to fall down and have to climb back up. This gets super annoying in later sections, as we will so discover when we get to worlds like Hollow Bastion. We will need to make our way down to the bottom of the Cave of Wonders, though, and break a pillar, revealing the entrance in the treasure room.
That boy again?
He is more persistent than I expected. Why not explain the situation to that boy, Riku? Doing so may actually prove useful to our...
Wait a second. Are you Maleficent?
Jafar, let Jasmine go!
Not a chance. You see, she's a princess. One of 7 who somehow hold the key to opening the door.
Open?
What door?
But you fools won't live to see what lies beyond it. Genie, my second wish, crush them!
The first phase of Jafar's boss fight really is just a game of cat and mouse. It's just us chasing him around the arena until he's defeated. Genie unfortunately will attack us due to Jafar's second wish being to crush them. But we end up crushing him instead.
Genie, my final wish. I want you to make me an all-powerful genie!
Jafar's second phase pits us against his genie form. Again, this is one of those unique ideas that really plays into the strengths of using the Disney IPs. The developers did their homework, and it really shows. In order to do damage to Jafar, we need to hit the lamp, which is being carried across the stage by Iago. We can hit it whenever it reaches us, but our biggest opportunity to hit the lamp will be when Iago gets tired and puts it down to rest.
Okay, Jafar, back to your lamp.
Jasmine? Jasmine!
With the keyhole sealed and AGRABAH safe, it's time we enter the belly of the well.
Hey, Sora! Are you okay?
What are you guys doing? Where are we anyway? Whoa!
Oh, you know, I think that big old whale Monstro just swallowed us. And for today's weather, expect showers. Oh, heavy showers.
Ow! Who's there? It's me. Oh, it's just Pinocchio. Pinocchio?
Pinocchio? Pinocchio, where are you going? Pinocchio! Come on, everybody, after him, quick!
It seems we weren't the only ones who were swallowed up by Monstro, as Geppetto and Pinocchio are stuck here too. As Geppetto introduces himself, Pinocchio runs off into the chambers of Monstro.
What are you doing? Come on, let's go back.
You know, Geppetto's awfully worried about you.
Pinocchio, stop fooling around. This is no time for games.
Games. Or are you too cool to play them now that you have the Keyblade?
Riku? What are you doing here?
Just playing with Pinocchio.
You know what I mean. What about Kairi? Did you find her?
Maybe. Catch us, and maybe I'll tell you what I know.
Oh, come on!
Next to Deep Jungle, Monstro has become my least favorite dungeon. It's so easy to get lost and mixed around because of how many doors lead to different chambers, making it a nightmare to explore. It does become easier once you obtain high jump and glide, but even so, I still hate going through this to get any remaining collectibles needed within Monstro. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten turned around or gone in circles thanks to the maze that Monstro is. The music is nice though, and that might be Stockholm Syndrome kicking in at this point. While we are on this note of music, I'm sure you've noticed by now how each world has a unique theme. Yoko Shimomura has managed to bring a uniqueness to each level, and not only that, but each area has its own battle theme. The key to making a great soundtrack, in my opinion, is one that has me playing the song on repeat all day in my head while I'm at work. Basically, it's a soundtrack that lives rent-free in my head. Maleficent is here as well, playing her same usual mind tricks on Riku.
Why do you still care about that boy? He has all but deserted you for the Keyblade and his new companions, after all.
I don't care about him. I was just messing with him a little.
Oh, really? Of course you were. Beware the darkness in your heart. the heartless prey upon it.
Mind your own business.
Riku! What's the matter with you? What are you thinking? Don't you realize what you're doing?
I was about to ask you the same thing, Sora. You only seem interested in running around and showing off that Keyblade these days. Do you even want to save Kairi?
I do.
Oh, Pinocchio, when are you going to learn? It's like babysitting a kid. Following the screaming, Pinocchio has been gobbled up by a giant cage monster. This boss is pretty easy to block his attacks, making it easy just to welt on the giant Heartless repeatedly. Once the Heartless is defeated, we can jump into its bowels and be shot out of its blowhole.
Pinocchio! Pinocchio! Please, give me back my son!
Sorry, old man. I have some unfinished business with this puppet.
He's no puppet. Pinocchio is my little boy.
He is unusual. Not many puppets have hearts. I'm not sure, but maybe he can help someone who's lost theirs.
Wait a minute. Are you talking about Kairi?
What do you care about her?
I like what they've done with Pinocchio. This is once again showing that the developers did their homework. The whole story of Pinocchio was one big existential crisis and what it means to be human, or what it means to have human consciousness. It's not hard to put two and two together here to realize it is our consciousness that is the heart. It's the essence of what makes us, well, us. It was a clever idea to use Pinocchio as a way to show that in-game.
Hey! Let Pinocchio go, Riku!
A puppet that's lost its heart to the Heartless. Maybe it holds the key to helping Kairi. How about it, Sora? Let's join forces to save her. We can do it together. What? You'd rather fight me? Over a puppet that has no heart?
Heart or no heart, at least he still has a conscience.
Conscience?
You might not hear it, but right now it's loud and clear. And it's telling me you're on the wrong side.
Then you leave me no choice.
Damn, Sora knows how to cut deep wounds. That was savage. The annoying cage Heartless appears again, and we once again have to fight it to save Pinocchio.
So, Kairi's like a lifeless puppet now?
Precisely.
And her heart was...
Taken by the Heartless, no doubt.
Tell me, what can I do?
There are 7 maidens of the purest heart. We call them the Princesses of Heart. Gather them together, and a door will open to the heart of all worlds. Within lies untold wisdom. There you will surely find a way to recover Kairi's heart. Now, I'll grant you a marvelous gift. The power to control the Heartless.
Like a tried and true villain, Maleficent begins manipulating the weak from the shadows. Finally, Monstro spits us out, and it's time we head to Halloween Town. Halloween Town, hands down, is the world I enjoyed most in Kingdom Hearts. It's become one of my favorite worlds throughout the entire series. We are introduced to Jack as we learn he is trying to make a Heartless dance for Halloween this year.
The King of Nightmares, Jack Skellington!
ghosts will be a big hit at this year's Halloween.
Thank you. But their movement still needs work. It's not scary enough.
Jack decides in order to do so, he's going to need to consult Dr. Finkelstein to try to figure out why the Heartless won't dance.
I don't understand. Maybe the guidance system was damaged in the explosion.
Nonsense. My devices are always perfect.
Oh, I've got it! Why, of course. The Heartless need a heart. Doctor, do you think we can add a heart to that device?
Certainly. A heart's not all that complicated. Let's get to work.
To make a heart, first take a container with a lock.
We need the key to this thing first.
Sora decides to help them unlock the heart since he wants to see a Heartless dance. The heart still doesn't work, however. Dr. Finkelstein comes to the conclusion that we need memory, but we are going to need to hunt down Sally in order to get that. We find Sally in the graveyard.
Is something wrong, Jack?
No, everything's going great. We're going to have the best Halloween ever. All we need now is your memory.
Memory? You mean this? Jack, I have a bad feeling about this. Why don't you try something else? There's still time.
Nothing could beat what I've got planned. Once we give the Heartless a heart, they'll dance just as I envision it. Trust me, you're going to love it.
Lock, Shock, and Barrel are scheming to take the heart to Oogie Boogie after hearing about it. Lock, Shock, and Barrel show up to take the heart from Dr. Finkelstein's laboratory and take it to Oogie Boogie. We follow them to Oogie Boogie's lair and make our way up to confront them. Once we get to the top of Oogie Boogie's hideout, we see them tossing it down to the hidden room where Oogie Boogie is. After fighting them, we press them about information on where Oogie Boogie is hiding out, but none of them seem to know. He's hiding on the side of the building towards the entrance of the area in a small door with Oogie's ugly face on the door. Let's get that heart back, shall we?
You want it? Well then come on over and get it! Ah! Now, let's see if I can get their attention. Oh, Hunters! This is it? Nobody disrespects me! Nobody!
The first fight with Oogie Boogie throws us on a giant roulette wheel. It's a unique way, again, to blend different Disney IPs into Kingdom Hearts worlds. The dice he rolls will either summon Blades, Heartless, and they will change according to the number he rolls. We need to wait our turn and wait for the switch on the roulette wheel to glow. Waiting for that opportunity for the moment for him to walk in front of it, we can press it and block him inside of a fence. Once he's trapped, we can jump up and defeat him.
Huh?
Once Oogie Boogie is defeated, his whole lair collapses and he merges with remnants of it. In order to defeat him, we need to hit the purple orbs surrounding him. Once they've been destroyed, we can finally lock that keyhole.
Sally, why didn't I listen to you?
Don't feel bad, Jack. We'll come up with another plan for Halloween. Next time, we'll do it together.
If Pinocchio was used to explore that heart was human connection, then Halloween Town explores the concepts you can't create consciousness or the soul. Each soul is unique in that there is no one same person. Consciousness is not something you can recreate. Each person is different. The components that make up the way a person acts in their psyche are wholly unique to the individual. Next stop is Atlantica. Under the sea we go.
Come on, Sebastian!
Ariel, wait! Slow down! Don't leave me behind!
Oh, relax, Sebastian. They don't look like one of them. Right, Flounder?
I don't know. There's something weird about them.
What do you mean?
They do seem a little different. Where are you from?
We're from kind of far away. And we're not really used to these waters,
Oh, I see. In that case, Sebastian can show you how we swim around here.
Ariel! King Triton will not like this!
Oh, don't worry.
Atlantica is unique in that we have a new skill set to learn, or new way of moving, as we're going to have to swim for the remainder of this level. Flounder gives us the breakdown on what exactly we need to do in order to swim.
That was too close. As long as I have my trident, I will not tolerate those creatures inside this palace.
Daddy?
Oh, Ariel! When will you listen? It's dangerous out there. Strange creatures lurk outside. Behold! You swim before the ruler of the seas! His Majesty, King Triton! And who are they?
They helped us fight off those creatures.
They don't look familiar.
We're from an ocean very far away.
Yup, we came to find the keyhole.
The what?
What's that?
Well, it's a...
There's no such thing, certainly not here.
But Daddy...
Ariel takes us to her grotto. Ariel makes a comment she wants to go see other worlds, and Sora follows up with one of his own saying he used to think the same way. This was kinda deep, not going to lie. Sora does make that comment that he used to think the same thing. I think this has a bit of double meaning personally, as it's reflective of Sora finally realizing leaving his island wasn't all what it cracked up to be. It wasn't just a misplacement of words, in my opinion. Meanwhile, we have Ursula scheming to overtake Atlantica in the background.
Those impudent fools will never find the keyhole. But the girl could prove useful, and I've got the Heartless on my side. Triton, my old friend, your day is coming.
Atlantica isn't my favorite world, but it's far from the worst. The worst part is having to kill the Heartless every time you want to ride the dolphin, which is needed to explore the sunken ship. This gets me into one of my complaints about Kingdom Hearts, how the triangle option or opening chests, you can't use it if there are enemies present, meaning you have to slay every single Heartless inside of a room before you can even open the chest. Inside the treasure chest, we find a crystal trident, which Ariel takes back to her grotto. It isn't long until her father shows up, though, and unleashes his wrath.
Ariel, you've disobeyed me again. I told you not to leave the palace.
Daddy, no! How could you?
Young man, you're not from another ocean. You're from another world, aren't you?
Huh?
Then you must be the key bearer.
How did you know?
You may fool Ariel, but you can't fool me. You don't know your dorsal fin from your tail.
You called, my dear?
You're Ursula. Well, I was just wondering if...
It's all right. Helping others is what I live for. Let me guess. You wish to see other worlds. That shouldn't be too hard. After all, your new friends came from another world.
What?
But they had special help. That mysterious key. Now, cheer up, sweetie. You have something special, too.
Huh?
Now listen carefully.
Ursula decides to take advantage of the situation and use Ariel to her advantage to take over Triton's throne. Ursula, using Ariel's desire to see other worlds, uses her to find the keyhole inside of the throne room. Unable to find the keyhole in the throne room, Ursula decides to take King Triton's trident instead.
The trident is mine at last, and I couldn't have done it without your help, my dear.
Ursula, no! I didn't want this!
Why not? Aren't you tired of following your dear daddy's orders? Oh, yes. We had a deal, didn't we? Time for a little journey to the dark world of the Heartless.
We cannot find the keyhole. The keyhole is not here.
What? Why, we have company. I'm afraid you're a little late, handsome.
Making our way back to the sunken ship, we find an entrance to Ursula's lair. The first fight with Ursula has us shooting fire into her cauldron to get it to back up so it spits fireballs, making her vulnerable to our physical attacks. We'll also have to fight Flotsam and Jetsam, her two little ills, in order to stop them from attacking us. Once she is defeated, she retreats into the ocean depths. We'll need to pursue her one last time.
You pathetic fools! I rule the seas now! The sea and all its spoils bow to my power!
This time, we fight against a giant version of Ursula. This fight isn't overly hard, just time-consuming. Most of the fight we can just spend whacking the back of her head, while most of her moves are completely avoidable as long as you stay behind her. After her defeat, we can take the trident back, and Triton gives us permission to take it and use it to seal the keyhole. Play scene. It's off to Neverland we go. As we make our way to Neverland, we are instantly taken in and kidnapped by Captain Hook's ship.
I didn't think you'd come, Sora. Good to see you again.
Well, where are Donald and Goofy?
Are they that important to you? More important than old friends? Instead of worrying about them, you should be asking about her.
Kyrie!
That's right. While you were off goofing around, I finally found her.
Not so fast. No shenanigans aboard my vessel, boy.
Riku, why are you siding with the Heartless?
The Heartless obey me now, Sora. Now I have nothing to fear.
You're stupid! Sooner or later, they'll swallow your heart!
Not a chance. My heart's too strong.
It's decided we are going to find Kyrie, but we need to get out of prison first. Let's meet our cellmate first, though, Peter Pan.
How you doing there? Looking for a way out?
Who are you?
I'm the answer to your prayers. Okay then, fine. Have it your way.
But you're stuck in here too, aren't you?
Huh. No, I'm just waiting for someone.
Who?
Tinkerbell, what took you so long? Great job. So you found Wendy? Hold on. There was another girl there too? Are you crazy? There's no way I'm gonna leave Wendy there.
Thanks to him and Tinkerbell, we're able to escape. Kyrie and Wendy are also locked up in the brig, so we'll need to find them.
So Wendy's not one of the chosen ones?
There are 7, supposedly. And Maleficent says she's not one of them. Hoist anchor as soon as possible. Leave all the dead weight behind, including her.
After the trouble of capturing her? And why those 7? What is Maleficent planning anyway?
Who knows? As long as it means getting Kyrie's heart back, I couldn't care less.
You're wasting your time. The Heartless have devoured that girl's heart. I'll stake me other hand it's lost forever.
I will find it, no matter what.
Riku begins to show signs of his heart slowly starting to wither away, as unlike Sora, he is willing to get rid of others to achieve his goals. Kyrie is inside of the same room with Wendy, but something seems wrong.
Peter? Peter Pan?
Wendy!
Please, hurry! The pirates are coming!
What? I'll be right up there. Just hold on.
Wendy?
Yes?
Is there another girl in there with you?
Oh, why, yes. But she seems to be asleep. She hasn't budged an inch.
Kyrie? Kyrie!
It's clear her heart really is missing. She's just an empty vessel. Captain Hook has planned to kidnap Tinkerbell in order to get us to walk the plank. Peter Pan saves Sora by giving him the ability to fly.
Fly, Sora. Just believe, and you can do it.
Thanks, Peter.
There's only one thing left to do, defeat Captain Hook. This is a pretty straightforward fight. After a couple of unique fights, this one seems pretty lackluster, as there just really isn't anything uniquely special about it. After the fight with Captain Hook, Sora, seemingly depressed about what's happened to Kyrie, tries to find that bit of happiness to hang on to.
Oh, Kyrie couldn't wake up, so maybe she's really lost her...
Sora.
I still can't believe it. I really flew. Wait till I tell Kyrie. I wonder if she'll believe me. Probably not.
You can bring her to Neverland sometime. Then she can try it herself.
If you believe, you can do anything, right? I'll find Kyrie. I know I will. There's so much I want to tell her about flying, the pirates, and everything else that's happened.
What's that, Tink? What about the clock tower? You say there's something there.
With Hook out of the way, let's make our way to Big Ben and seal the keyhole.
It was reckless to bring her here without at least using a vessel. Remember, relying too heavily on the dock powers could cost you your heart.
Sora, Donald, and Goofy make their way back to Traverse Town to get the next navigation gummy installed. It's starting to hit Sora that Kairi has lost her heart, but he sees a woman telling a story to a young Kairi. This must have been Kairi's grandmother, but why is Sora seeing this memory from Kairi? Before we make our way to Hollow Bastion and finish up the game, we need to make one last stop at 100 Acre Woods. 100 Acre Woods prerequisites requires us to find all the torn pages scattered across the worlds. Once we do so, we can return to Merlin's study and examine the book. We will need to put the story back together and reunite Winnie the Pooh and his friends. 100 Acre Woods is a collection of mini-games Sora can participate in. We first need to make our way to a house made of sticks.
Hi there. What's wrong?
Nothing. Just thinking.
Oh.
I was thinking of how to say goodbye to Pooh.
Pooh?
Yes.
Wait a second. You're Pooh?
Yes, I'm Winnie the Pooh. Pooh for short. Who are you?
I'm Sora.
Oh, hello, Sora. Have you come to say goodbye to Pooh, too?
Well, no. Why would I do that? We've only just met.
Because everyone's gone away.
What do you mean?
Well, we all lived here in the 100-acre wood, and we'd take walks together, or play Pooh sticks. And every day, I'd eat some honey. Just one small smackerel would taste very good right now.
It seems Pooh has lost his friends. It's up to us to put together the pieces of the story. Pooh, hungry for honey, returns to his home but realizes he's out.
Oh, bother. There's no more honey left. If only the honey tree would visit. Oh, then I could eat my fill.
Since we know where we need to head first, let's go ahead and head to the gigantic tree to find Pooh some more honey. A scared piglet runs away from Sora as a big hulking beast of a man towers over him. We won't be able to talk to Piglet directly, so we'll need to sneak around the tree in order to do so.
Oh dear, I was just, never mind. I'm sorry.
Don't be scared. You're looking for Pooh, right?
You know Pooh. Oh, you see, I have something for him. I have to take it to Pooh right away. Oh, Pooh! Pooh!
Hello, Piglet. How have you been?
Oh, I'm so glad to see you. I thought you'd gone away. I brought what you asked for.
Thank you, Piglet. Now I can finally have some honey.
In order to collect honey for Pooh, we need to protect the balloon from being popped by the bees as he eats honey out of the tree. The best way to achieve this is to lock onto the bees as they come out of the hive and whack them before they have a chance to pop the balloon. Next stop is Rabbit's house. Rabbit is pretending he isn't home because he doesn't want Pooh to eat all of his honey. Sora, being the asshole he is, decides to lead Pooh straight into Rabbit's honey so he can eat it. I thought Sora was the good guy here. Guess we need to add breaking and entering and thievery to his list of crimes. Pooh managed to get his rear end stuck in Rabbit's crawl hole. That fat old bear has simply eaten too much honey. We need to feed Pooh some carrot juice to slim him down, but from the distance we hear Tigger.
Hey there! Name's Tigger! T-I-double-G-R. That spells Tigger. Well now, I don't think I've ever seen you before.
Hello, Tigger. You've just bounced my new friend, Sora.
Hey, Pooh. Say, you're looking mighty uncomfy today. Is that some new exercise? Why, bouncing around is a lot more fun.
Well, why do you bounce around so much, Tigger?
Why? 'Cause bouncing's what Tiggers do best. Speaking of which, my bouncing spot has gone and disappeared. So for now, this will be my new bouncing ground.
In order to save Rabbit's carrots, we'll need to stop Tigger from bouncing on them. In order to achieve this, we'll need to position Sora under him so he can't bounce on the carrots. Once we've saved enough carrots, Rabbit is able to make the carrot juice, and poor Pooh is finally able to crawl out of the hole. The next stop is a tree overlooking a small creek. Eeyore has lost his tail. It's up to Sora and Pooh to find it. We need to get Pooh high enough up in the air so he can see Eeyore's tail from the sky. Using the swing, Owl will spread his wings to cue us when to hit R1 to send Pooh flying into the air. With success, we're able to find Eeyore's tail. Our next stop is the treehouse. Tigger and Roo want to teach Sora how to bounce. They will jump on certain branches and will need to copy their pattern. Eventually, we can join them in another minigame where we'll hurl nuts at a giant honey pot to break it open. The last area is a giant marsh. Pooh and his friends have been separated. We need to guide Pooh along with us and talk to each of the residents of 100 Acre Woods. Sora will put them in some tall grass hidden in the middle of the marsh. With Pooh and his friends finally reunited, it's time to say goodbye.
I'm so glad we're all together again. I didn't know what to do when I was all alone.
Oh, Piglet, you gotta be brave.
You weren't lonely at all?
Lonely? Are you kidding? I'm a Tigger. The most wonderful thing about Tiggers is I'm the only one. But I do admit, friends are awfully fun too.
Think, think, think.
Hey, Pooh. What are you thinking about now?
Oh, well, I'm just thinking about what to think about.
Well, I'm off.
Sora, where are you going?
I'm gonna go look for my friends. They're waiting for me.
Bounce on back again.
I hope you find your friends.
Sora, don't forget, we shall always be here. If you'd like to visit again, that is.
The inclusion of Winnie the Pooh may seem pointless, but when you factor in Nomura said the game was about making connections, it does send home this message: as long as we don't forget each other, we'll always have friends. Our friends will always be with us. At its core, friendship is the main theme Kingdom Hearts is always trying to convey. And what better world to send such a wholesome message than 100 Acre Woods? During our travels across Kingdom Hearts worlds, we'll have the opportunity to be able to participate in cups at the Colosseum. After completing all 3 cups, finishing out with the Hercules Cup, and defeating Hercules himself, we'll finally have a chance to seal the keyhole inside of Olympus Coliseum.
Now I finally know what you mean about strength of heart. Mine comes from Donald and Goofy.
Come again?
If we stick together, we're unbeatable. Not even Hercules stands a chance. With these guys beside me, I'm ready for anything.
But that's not exactly what...
Of course. Your friends give you strength. Isn't that right, Phil? The three of you together make great heroes. And as a team, I'm sure you can overcome anything.
If there is one world in Kingdom Hearts other than Destiny Island that instantly comes to my mind, it's Hollow Bastion. Not only is this where most of the major events of the story take place, it has some of the most memorable scenes in the game. And oh my gosh, that soundtrack. Talk about perfectly encapsulating a feel of relaxing yet somber, calming but mysterious. The overarching ominous tone of the world's music here gives off this sense of it being a once peaceful place, but something truly sinister happened here. Our bodies as kids were not ready to bear witness to the horrors that awaited us up top the towers of Hollow Bastion. Making our way to the top of the waterfall, we bear witness to one of the game's biggest gut punches.
Stop!
So, you finally made it. About time. I've been waiting for you. We've always been rivals, haven't we? You've always pushed me, as I've always pushed you.
Riku.
But it all ends here. There can't be two Keyblade Masters.
What are you talking about?
Let the Keyblade choose. It's true master. Maleficent was right. You don't have what it takes to save Kairi. It's up to me. Only the Keyblade Master can open the secret door and change the world.
But that's impossible. How did this happen? I'm the one who fought my way here with the Keyblade.
You were just the delivery boy. Sorry, your part's over now. Here, go play hero with this.
Goofy, let's go. We have to remember our mission.
Oh, well, I know the king told us to follow the key and all, but...
Sora, sorry.
With our wooden sword, we are going to have to rely on beast and magic to get us through. I remember how hard this scene struck me the first time I saw it. You felt betrayed. Donald and Goofy followed you all the way here only to leave Sora in one of his most vulnerable times. On the other hand, you feel like you're stripped of all of your powers. You're just a level 1 basic bitch with no purpose or meaning. That trek through the waterway, though, now felt like hours, and it probably did the amount of times I got lost as a child making my way through it. After activating the switch and making our way through the waterway, we can finally make our way to the Grand Hall.
Quit while you can.
No, not without Kairi.
The darkness will destroy you.
You're wrong, Riku. The darkness may destroy my body, but it can't touch my heart. My heart will stay with my friends. It'll never die.
Really? Well, we'll just see about that.
Ah!
Sora, Sora ain't gonna go anywhere.
You'd betray your king?
Not on your life. But I'm not gonna betray Sora either, 'cause he's become one of my best buddies after all we've been through together. See you later, Donald. Could you tell the king I'm really sorry?
Hold on, Goofy! We'll try them together! Well, you know, after one and one for all.
I guess you're stuck with us, Sora.
Thanks a lot, Donald. Goofy.
How will you fight without a weapon?
I know now I don't need the Keyblade. I've got a better weapon. My heart!
Your heart? What good will that weak little thing do for you?
Although my heart may be weak, it's not alone. It's grown with each new experience, and it's found a home with all the friends I've made. I've become part of their heart just as they've become a part of mine. And if they think of me now and then, if they don't forget me, then our hearts will be one. I don't need a weapon. My friends are my power.
Let's freaking go. My blood was pumping at this point. Riku is not too happy that Sora has reacquired the Keyblade.
Why? It was mine.
Know this. The heart that is strong and true shall win the Keyblade.
What? You're saying my heart's weaker than his?
For that instant it was. However, you can become stronger. You showed no fear in stepping through the door to darkness. It held no terror for you. Plunge deeper into the darkness, and your heart will grow even stronger.
What should I do?
It's really quite simple. Open yourself to the darkness. That is all. Let your heart, your being, become darkness itself.
It becomes clear at this point Riku has given his heart fully into darkness. It's interesting as you take time to look at Sora and Riku and see how they differ vastly from each other. Sora and Riku want to save Kairi. Riku has gone at every length possible to hurt others and his friends. He has been willing to throw those he cares about to the side for his own personal gain. It's also quite clear Riku at this point has no problem forcing his will onto others. Sora is willing to help those in need while Riku is not. We will explore this more later on, but this hints heavily at Christian archetypes of Christ and Satan. How Christ puts others before himself and how Satan puts himself before others. Sora showed a great deal of strength too, while also picking up his wooden sword and continuing when he was powerless, symbolizing the true strength comes from within and not our perceived desires to necessarily find it. As much as I love Hollow Bastion, dear gosh, the amount of times I've fallen to the lower areas because of airborne enemies has been an absolute nightmare. After making our way through the tower and all the way up top, we fight Maleficent.
So, I see the path has emerged at last.
Yes, the keyhole to the darkness.
Unlock it, and the Heartless will overrun this world.
What do I care? The darkness holds no power over me. Rather, I will use its power to rule all worlds.
Such confidence.
Oh. Impossible! The princesses of Heart are all here. It must be her.
Without her heart, she will never be able to release her power.
The king's fools are here. I'll deal with them myself. You stay here and guard the princesses. I'm afraid you're too late. Any moment now, the final keyhole will be unsealed. This world will be plunged into darkness. It is unstoppable.
We'll stop it! After coming this far, there's no way we're gonna let that happen.
You poor, simple fools. You think you can defeat me? Me, the mistress of all evil!
I enjoyed the first fight of Maleficent despite how tedious it can feel at times. You'll have to attack the platform she is on and welt at it to bring her down to your level as she hurls magic and Heartless at you left and right. Eventually, you're able to bring her down. The now possessed Riku stabs Maleficent, unleashing her true potential, transforming her into a dragon.
Do you need some help?
Riku!
Is that?
Yes, a Keyblade. But unlike yours, this Keyblade holds the power to unlock people's hearts. Allow me to demonstrate. Behold! Now, open your heart. Surrender it to the darkness. Become darkness itself!
This is it. This power. Darkness. The true darkness!
This fight can be a massive difficulty spike if you are unprepared, but once you learn the patterns and take her down, it's not too bad. After Maleficent's defeat, it's off to seal the keyhole. Waiting up top for us is Riku.
Kairi! 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 Open your eyes!
It's no use. That girl has lost her heart. She cannot wake up.
What? You're not Riku?
The keyhole cannot be completed, so long as the last Princess of Heart still sleeps.
The princess? Kairi's a princess?
Yes. And without her power, the keyhole will remain incomplete. It is time she awakened.
Whoever you are, let Riku go! Give him back his heart!
But first, you must give the princess back her heart.
What's...
Don't you see yet? The princess's heart is responding. It has been there all along. Kairi's heart rests within you.
Kairi's inside me?
I know all that there is to know.
Tell me, who are you?
It is I, Ansem, the Seeker of Darkness. So, I shall release you now, Princess. Complete the keyhole with your power. Open the door. Lead me into everlasting darkness.
Sora! Forget it. There's no way you're taking Kairi's heart.
After a fight with Riku, we are treated to perhaps one of the most gut-wrenching scenes in the entire game.
Riku!
Sora, look!
Oh, the keyhole! It won't work! The keyhole's not finished yet!
What can we do?
Maybe we gotta go wake Kairi up.
I think you're right. If we can free her heart... But how? A keyblade that unlocks people's hearts. I wonder.
Sora?
There is a lot to break down in terms of symbolism here and what is going on, but let's get the rest of the context out of the way and make our way through Hollow Bastion before we dive into that analysis. Taking control of the Heartless, we don't have to worry about any fights, we just need to make our way to the Grand Hall.
Sora? Is that you? This time I'll protect you. Sora!
Irene!
Kyrie, thank you.
Sora!
With our body back, we make our escape from Hollow Bastion and back to Traverse Town.
So the darkness is flowing out of that keyhole.
No wonder there are more and more Heartless everywhere. The only way to stop them is...
seal the keyhole, right?
Maybe, but no one knows what will happen once it's sealed.
Well, we can't just stay here. We have to do something. I've got a friend back there.
That's right. You have one more friend to worry about. Riku's Keyblade must have been born of the captive princess's hearts. Just like that keyhole you saw. Of course, without Kyrie's heart, it remained incomplete. Once that Keyblade was destroyed, the princess's hearts should have been freed. Don't worry, Sora. If anyone can save your friend, you can.
With a game planned in mind, we need to find a way to get back to Hollow Bastion. The main way is blocked, however, due to the influx of Heartless coming through. Sid has stored a navigation gummy for just an occasion in case he ever needed to make his way back to Hollow Bastion. Hollow Bastion used to be the home of Sid, Yuffie, Leon, and Aerith until 9 years ago when the Heartless invaded that world. We make our way down to Traverse Town's waterway and unlock the gummy hidden behind the wall.
A light at the end of the tunnel.
Oh, your grandma's story, right?
That's right. We were together.
You know what's funny? I looked everywhere for you, but you were with me all along. Finally, we're together, Kyrie. Now, it's time to get Riku back.
You think it'll ever be the same again between us? Riku's lost his...
When I turned into a Heartless, you saved me, remember? I was lost in the darkness. I couldn't find my way. As I stumbled through the dark, I started forgetting things. My friends, who I was. The darkness almost swallowed me. But then I heard a voice. Your voice. You brought me back.
I didn't want to just forget about you, Sora. I couldn't.
That's it. Our hearts are connected. And the light from our hearts broke through the darkness. I saw that light. I think that's what saved me. No matter how deep the darkness, a light shines within. I guess it's more than just a fairy tale.
Well, let's go.
You can't go.
Why not?
Because it's way too dangerous.
Come on, Sora. We made it this far by sticking together. You can't go alone.
Kyrie, even if we're apart, we're not alone anymore, right?
I can't help?
You'd kind of be in my way.
Okay. You win. Take this. It's my lucky charm. Be sure to bring it back to me.
Don't worry, I will.
Promise?
Promise.
Meanwhile, Riku is trapped in the realm of darkness. His body has been destroyed thanks to the darkness. Riku has yet to fulfill his purpose, though. He hears a mysterious voice calling out to him. For the record, this is King Mickey, who is also stuck in the realm of darkness. Making our way back to Hollow Bastion, we are finally able to seal the keyhole. Sid, Yuffie, Leon, and Aerith make their way to Hollow Bastion since it was their home. With the keyhole sealed, we've got one more thing left to do, go to the end of the world. There are a couple of side quests that do open up. You can go to Hades Cup and complete a 50 battle tournament for first place. If you haven't done so, you can also finish up 100 Acre Woods at this point before making your way into the end of the world. The end of the world is a Heartless created world from an amalgamation of different worlds destroyed by the Heartless.
Gorge, is that all that's left of the worlds taken by the Heartless?
Those worlds will be restored if we beat Ansem, right?
You betcha!
But if we do beat him, and all these worlds become restored and disconnected, what's gonna happen to this place? And to us?
This is a Heartless world, so maybe it'll just disappear.
Huh?
But no worries. Even if this place goes poof, our hearts ain't going nowhere. I'm sure we'll find our pals again. Yep, I just know that we will.
I think out of any final dungeon in just about any RPG I've played, this has got to be one of the worst I've ever encountered. Kingdom Hearts' final dungeon is just a gauntlet of battles almost non-stop. This doesn't help that this world has many enemies that will just spit you out and turn you into dust if you're not careful or not prepared. The demon Sherenabog from Fantasia makes an appearance as one of the bosses, followed by wave after wave after wave of Heartless. To make things worse, there is no save point after defeating Sherenabog, so if you wanted to stop the game, you're going to have to reface him all over again. But making this final push, we can finally get to the last save point of the game.
Take a look at this tiny place. To the heart-seeking freedom, this island is a prison, surrounded by water. And so this boy sought out to escape from his prison. He sought a way to cross over into other worlds, and he opened his heart to darkness.
Riku!
Don't bother. Your voice can no longer reach him where he is. His heart belongs again to darkness. All worlds begin in darkness. And all so end. The heart is no different. Darkness sprouts within it. It grows, consumes it. Such is its nature. In the end, every heart returns to the darkness whence it came. You see, darkness is the heart's true essence.
That's not true! The heart may be weak, and sometimes it may even give in. But I've learned that deep down there's a light that never goes out.
So you have come this far, and still you understand nothing. Every light must fade. Every heart return to darkness.
What?
Behold the endless abyss. Within it lies the heart of all worlds. Kingdom Hearts. Look as hard as you are able. You'll not find even the smallest glimmer of light. From those dark depths are all hearts born. Even yours. Darkness conquers all worlds!
giving up already? Come on, Sora. I thought you were stronger than that.
The world of chaos is Ansem's final form. You'll first be separated by Goofy and Donald, once again taking on Ansem with Sora alone. Once the first phase is over, you are thrown into a dark room with Goofy fighting off a wave of Heartless and destroying an orb. That opens the bottom portion of the mouth, where we are joined back up with Donald and destroy the orb inside. After destroying the bottom of the world of chaos, we can finally make our way into the middle extremities, destroying the barrier protecting Ansem and putting an end to him once and for all.
It is futile. The Keyblade alone cannot seal the door to darkness. Kingdom Hearts, fill me with the power of darkness. Supreme darkness.
You're wrong. I know now, without a doubt. Kingdom Hearts is light.
Light. But why?
Come on!
Whoa! Stop staring and keep brushing! Huh?
I can't.
Don't give up. Come on, Sora. Together we can do it.
Okay.
Oh? Your Majesty!
Now, Sora, let's close this door for good.
Close that trap!
But...
Don't worry. There will always be a door to the light.
Sora, you can trust King Mickey.
Now! They're coming!
Donald, Goofy, thank you.
Take care of her.
what you said before? I'm always with you too. I'll come back to you. I promise.
I know you will.
Sora and Kairi are split up as she makes her way back to Destiny Island. Sora is whisked off somewhere else. As the credits roll, we are treated to what the other characters throughout the game are up to as the game ends. It's a heartwarming moment watching friends and loved ones reunite once more as things begin to turn to normal. Kingdom Hearts ends with Sora, Donald, and Goofy finding Pluto alongside of a letter from the king, thus hinting at a sequel.
Now what do we do?
We've got to find Riku and King Mickey.
But, where do we start looking for that there door to the light?
Huh? Huh?
Pluto?
Hey, Pluto! Where have you been?
Huh?
Hi!
Gosh, that's the king's seal!
Hey, have you seen King Mickey? Guys, let's go!
I love this ending. It's so satisfying. Talk about a feel-good ending that just hits you right in the feels. I realized upon editing this video how hard I was on the gameplay aspects of Kingdom Hearts. Looking back in retrospect, it definitely hasn't aged the greatest. While I think its story is still something extremely special and gives off such feel-good vibes, the gameplay hasn't aged the best. Sure, I can pick up a controller and get back into it pretty easily, and if you're watching this video and have played it, you likely can too, but I can see someone accustomed to more modern controls, or someone who hasn't played it, trying to pick it up and really struggling. Looking back, there are some major faults with the gameplay. I think we can simply look past, or at least could back in the day. I still stand by what I said about Kingdom Hearts flying enemies, for instance, really needing an improvement. I can't believe I'm saying this, but Kingdom Hearts could definitely use a modern upgrade, more akin to the level of, say, something like Near Replicant, where it still keeps that original in place, as long as they stick to their guns and don't update it for a modern audience. That said, I still recommend it from a story perspective alone, as I think the story is still worth playing. Just go in expecting some frustration from some older gameplay mechanics along the way. With our story in full context, it's time to break down the symbolism and deeper meaning behind Kingdom Hearts. Let's get into it. Kingdom Hearts uses the formula straight from the hero's journey, following it to a T. The hero's journey was a term coined by Joseph Campbell from his book Hero with a Thousand Faces. The idea behind this archetype was to point out the common patterns within storytelling and how many of stories throughout myth, religion, and fiction all tell the same story. The hero's journey was inspired by the archetypes of psychoanalyst Carl Jung. Campbell began to realize the stories of Moses, Hercules, Perseus, and King Arthur began to follow a very similar story archetype. Hence the name of his book, A Hero with a Thousand Faces, because it's all telling the story, quote-unquote, of the same hero. All stories focused on the Chosen One archetype. Basically, each of these were the same character achieving different goals, but retold with small details being changed or altered throughout the story. This is proven true in almost all of our stories, whether it be Hercules, Moses, Luke Skywalker, Harry Potter, Link, Master Chief, Cloud, or Sora. These stories tell the same type of story. What makes the use of Final Fantasy and Disney characters within Kingdom Hearts so brilliant is because each of these characters have gone through their respected media and very much on their own hero's journey. Tarzan, Aladdin, Pinocchio, Leon, Cloud, Jack, you name it. They've all had similar journeys or archetypes that their stories have followed. It's a clever use really, as it's kind of a hero's journey inception of a hero's journey, allowing Sora to go on his own. Understanding Jungian psychology will go a long way in helping one make sense of Kingdom Hearts' more complex ideas, as much of Carl Jung's works have influenced the ideas behind many of Kingdom Hearts' concepts. Before we can explore these deeper concepts, we first need to establish what the heart is. The heart is an allegory for the consciousness, who you are, your dreams, hopes, desires, and what makes you unique. In psychology terms, the heart represents the self. The heart plays a strong role in the story of Kingdom Hearts and shows how easily one can lose their heart and become corrupted by darkness. The heartless is a manifestation of the Jungian shadow. Carl Jung coined the term the shadow to describe the deepest, darkest desires we have. The shadow is that of which we don't want to acknowledge, as it reflects these parts of our subconscious we do not want others to see or sometimes even acknowledge ourselves. This can be fear, emotion, or the actions we try to suppress. The persona is the facade we put on to hide how we really feel. In essence, the persona is the part of yourself you let others see. The heartless is a manifestation of that shadow and those who have given in to their internalized darkness. It was Jung's belief that in order for one to become whole, they had to integrate their shadow. This was done by realizing the tendencies of your shadow and learning how to bring it under your control. Riku explores this concept, though it's more fully realized at the end of Chain of Memories, and no, we're not going to be covering that game on this channel ever, but it will be brought up at some point if we end up covering Kingdom Hearts 2. Carl Jung said, "No tree, it is said, can grow to heaven unless its roots reach down to hell." This is to say, no matter how good your intentions when you try to justify an action, those roots often branch down to selfish desires that stem from your own worldviews. You are, in essence, trying to play mental gymnastics to justify your actions, much like Riku did in Kingdom Hearts. Another famous quote that says something similar is, "The road to hell is paved with good intentions." Riku only wanted to restore Kairi's heart and bring back his friend, but more than that, his desire to see other worlds also brought along the destruction of his own. Friends, family, all swallowed up in the darkness because he wanted to see other worlds. Eventually, his encounter with his shadow led him to fully give in to those dark desires and become the very essence of evil himself. Disclaimer: this section is not meant to convert nor push any sort of biblical context or ideas, nor is it meant to mock any religion or beliefs. At the end of the day, it's not my goal to dissuade anybody from believing a certain thing or convert anybody to a certain belief. I hope atheists and Christians, Buddhists or agnostic, you can find value purely from an entertainment perspective and not start Armageddon in my comment section. One of the more common archetypes portrayed in the hero's journey is sacrifice of the self. Name just about any hero's story and they in some way, shape, or form have done this. Some come back, others die, but it's a trope we see throughout myth, religion, and storytelling. This is most commonly known as the savior archetype, the hero or individual that sacrifices everything and puts others before themselves. The most notable sacrifice perhaps known to man was of course Christ. I've seen many comparisons over the years to Sora somehow being the embodiment of Christ because he sacrifices himself and comes back. I've also seen others push back on the idea and outright dismiss it. At the end of the day, I think we have to admit the parallels are uncanny, especially when we take a look at Chain of Memories and Kingdom Hearts 2 in wider context. No matter how you shake it, the first three games are a retelling of the New Testament. I'll be covering these connections when I actually get around to playing Kingdom Hearts 2. I'm not saying either the story of Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 fit perfectly into this mold, but those that do are very uncanny. Even if it was intentional or not, or just pure coincidence, it happens to just showcase how much of our stories and patterns really do follow these archetypes that Campbell and Jung talked about. Let's take a look at how Sora's story unfolds. First off, I want to point out how eerily similar Destiny Islands is to the Garden of Eden. While not a 100% verse-for-verse description of the events of Genesis, the connections are uncanny. The destruction of Destiny Island does symbolize the fall of Adam. There is also the sharing of the Paupu fruit, which Kairi and Sora both share, symbolically of course, symbolizing the sharing of the fruit between Adam and Eve. This causes Kairi to lose her heart, so to speak, but cling to Sora's heart, thus Adam and Eve always being together. In a bit of reverse symbolism here, Sora and Riku actually symbolize Adam and Eve, not Sora and Kairi. Remember, it was the appearance of Kairi that made Sora and Riku want to leave the island in the first place and explore other worlds. Using the competition of both Sora and Riku having feelings for Kairi, she placed the role of the serpent in the Garden of Eden. The Paupu fruit is meant to symbolize the forbidden fruit from the Tree of Knowledge. Sora's arrival in Traverse Town is marked by the arrival of a giant falling star. This is his world being destroyed, but it is a bright star in the sky nonetheless. Donald and Goofy see the star falling. This is symbolic of the 3 wise men who saw the Star of Bethlehem as a symbol of the coming of Christ. The 3rd wise man is Leon. To further this connection, let's look at the 3 gifts Sora receives from Donald, Goofy, and Leon and compare those to the gifts the Magi brought to Christ. Donald gives Sora the ability of fire. The equivalent of this was the perfume or the frankincense given to Christ. The frankincense was to symbolize the divine nature of Christ. If we tie this back to Kingdom Hearts, the use of magic could infer a strong connection to the divine. Leon gives Sora money to spend as he sees fit. This is symbolic of the gold given to Christ to represent kingship or his authority of power over the forces of evil. Goofy gives Sora dodge roll. While this might seem like a stretch, this is a move that lets you dodge enemy attacks, thus acknowledging you can in fact die. The last gift given to Christ upon his birth was myrrh, the balming oil used to symbolize the death or mortality of Christ. This could be a bit of foreshadowing also that Sora will indeed sacrifice himself. Throughout the rest of the game, Sora fights evil forces of the Heartless throughout the game, helping those in need and spreading light wherever he goes while stopping evil entities from affecting the world. It's in Hollow Bastion Sora makes the ultimate sacrifice. Since the heart of Kairi rests inside of Sora, he needs to sacrifice himself in order to release it. Riku, being controlled by Ansem, is all the more willing to sacrifice Sora to release it, just like to infer Judas was possessed by Satan and gave up Christ's location to Pontius Pilate. This obviously makes Ansem the archetype of Satan. Both Sora and Christ willingly gave their life to save others. In Sora's case, the keyhole could not be unlocked without Kairi's heart since she was a princess of heart. Christ knowingly sacrificed himself so he could storm the gates of hell and free every soul from captivity in what was known as the harrowing of hell. The details don't line up perfectly, but the connections are there. This was a selfless act. What's interesting is just like Christ, Sora does descend into the depths of darkness, much like Christ did hell, and retains his physical form after becoming a Heartless. Who were the 3 individuals who saw Sora regain his physical form? Kairi, Donald, and Goofy. This parallels the 3 individuals who saw Christ after his resurrection: Mary Magdalene, Peter, and John. The storming of hell happened between the crucifixion and resurrection. Sora and Donald Goofy make their way to the depths of hell via the end of the world after sealing the keyhole to Hollow Bastion. Sora defeats Ansem, seals Kingdom Hearts, and restores all the lost souls to their former selves, with Sora seemingly disappearing and being but a memory. Do with this what you will, but nonetheless, I'm curious to hear what you all think about this in the comments section below. The use of Disney worlds allowed Kingdom Hearts writers to explore the complex ideas of one of Carl Jung's more controversial and fringe ideas, the collective unconscious. Carl Jung's collective unconscious was an explanation of why so many of our stories follow the same pattern. I'll let you put it together. But what does Link from Ocarina of Time, Luke from Star Wars, and Moses all have in common? The uses of Disney worlds was an intentional choice. You were a 90s kid, you grew up with these cartoons. Your parents likely introduced you to them. There was theme parks built in their honor. Kids worshipped these fictitious characters created by a corporation, much like the myths of Old Norse, Aztec, Sumerian, Greek, and Japanese. These have all been ingrained into our culture. You've grown up knowing who these are, and even likely write them into your own stories you're probably drawing from Disney movies you saw as a kid. Same with Final Fantasy for those that grew up playing games in the 90s. We all know who Cloud and Sephiroth is, and they've all become part of the collective unconscious. And though these characters themselves tie into those mythologies we mentioned before and carry through those archetypes, it again just goes to cement how right Joseph Campbell and Carl Jung were when it came to patterns and stories. If you haven't figured it out yet, this is what Kingdom Hearts is. It's Carl Jung's idea of the collective unconscious. It's the stories, the patterns, the archetypes, and the ingrained mythology every story pulls from. No matter how hard you try to deviate from these set patterns and archetypes, you can't. You'll always fall into these same tropes, using them in your own works. It's how you execute these ideas and present your story that makes the story itself unique. Kingdom Hearts is a personification of our desire to visit worlds in books, movies, and video games. It's our naive nature to play, our ape brains, for lack of a better term, trying to make sense of the world, trying to find purpose in life, and ultimately the meaning behind our existence. When you fire up Kingdom Hearts, you're instantly bombarded with Disney and imagery from Final Fantasy. This was clearly intentional, not only to hit you in the feels, but to pay homage to all the stories that came before. Kingdom Hearts is the hero's journey inside of a hero's journey. It's a coming-of-age story. What hit me hard this playthrough was thinking back when I first played this, which was right at the start of high school. I look back at my dreams, my aspirations, and my longing to grow up and see the world. I wanted to broaden my horizons, become stronger. I was afraid of getting old and being indecisive. I wanted to do everything. In a way, Kingdom Hearts is a slap in the face to that younger self deep down in my own consciousness of how naive I really was. As Sora ventured into different worlds and explored his dreams, he began to realize the world was much bigger and more complex than he once thought. His desires to visit worlds quickly changed into wanting to find his friends and make his way back home. Just like us, as we grow older and realize being adults isn't at all what we thought it was cracked up to be. Once we start this journey, and we have to, there's no going back. Kingdom Hearts makes us realize those same patterns in our own lives as we try to navigate the world and find our own path in our very own video game called life. Everything in Kingdom Hearts comes back to connections, thus going back to that very same quote, the very same theme that Nomura wanted to hit on the biggest. The Jungian archetypes, the idea of the collective unconscious, how our hearts are connected through friendship, even the parallels between Sora and Christ. This is all to tie back into that very beginning quote from Nomura. It's through these stories we are connected. Through a common monomyth, our greatest heroes come from. It is to show that no matter culture, no matter country, no matter time period, storytelling will always be there to connect humankind to each other. Kingdom Hearts really is just one big analysis of the hero's journey. In this day and age, we need something to connect to, something to have in common. It is through storytelling and its ability to connect us all together, I think, that makes Kingdom Hearts' greatest message. It's Kingdom Hearts' constant reminder it's friends and those we surround each other with that stop us from giving in to our darkest impulses. Kingdom Hearts falsely gets claimed as a game that's about finding one's true self, while in actuality, it's about rising up with courage and standing up for what you believe in. It's about making sacrifices and putting others before you. Finding friends and community who have your back, who come from different backgrounds, setting aside those differences and working together towards common goals. Kingdom Hearts, at the end of the day, is finding, well, for lack of a better term, finding that light of Christ, and ensuring darkness doesn't swallow you up. With all the hatred and things happening in the world today, I'd say Kingdom Hearts has a pretty strong message to send us all. Kingdom Hearts has always been and always will be one of my favorite video games, despite its flaws and elements that have aged poorly. I think from a gameplay perspective, this really could use some updated mechanics. Some are going to find the mechanics very hard to get used to. From the camera angle to the platforming, it can be outright unfair at times. I've always cherished its story though. Kingdom Hearts reminds me of simpler times. It's funny really. I'm replaying this as Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy no longer reflect the series I've gotten into. as Disney commits to mass annihilation on all of my childhood franchises. I start to feel disconnected and realize these properties aren't made for me anymore. It reminds me of how stuck in the past and set in my ways I really am. It's what makes Kingdom Hearts so special. It reminds me of simpler times and reminds me that sometimes interests change and sometimes you grow up. It's a reflection of Sora's journey. It's a reflection of myself. Let me know down below what you guys think. Until next time, stay safe out there. Stay happy, be happy, game happy. Spoons is checking out. If you've made it this far in the video, I just want to say thank you so much for sticking around. If you haven't done so already, consider subscribing and giving that bell a notification so you do not miss a video when it goes live. If you want to be like my Patreons over here, you're more than welcome to click over there and help support the channel. Completely optional, but every little bit does help, and I am very appreciative of it. And I'm appreciative of you for just sticking around and watching the video as well. You can also check out my latest reviews and my other videos here as the latest video that has been posted, and check out my other reviews here or check out our other podcasts. But most importantly, guys, stay safe out there and stay happy, be happy, game happy. Spoons is checking out.